God says, listen quietly and with a peaceful heart, because this message is not meant to disturb you, frighten you, or create doubt. It is meant to bring awareness, understanding, and healing. The home you live in is not just walls and a roof. It is a sacred space where emotions, prayers, memories, and unspoken feelings have been living together for a long time. Heaven sees your home clearly, not only from the outside, but from deep within the unseen layers where truth rests silently. There has been a gentle stirring around your home, not sudden and not harsh, but steady and intentional. Something that has been quietly present is beginning to surface, not to cause pain, but to bring clarity. This is not about exposure for shame, and it is not about accusation. It is about revelation for peace. God does not uncover things to harm hearts, He reveals them to heal them. What is coming to light is meant to remove confusion, not create it. This message speaks of a woman connected to your home, and it is important to understand this with wisdom and calmness. A secret does not always mean something dark. Sometimes it is an unspoken emotion, a hidden burden, a silent sacrifice, or a truth that was never given the right moment to be expressed. Heaven is saying that what has been held inside is reaching a time when it can no longer remain hidden, not because it is wrong, but because it is ready to be understood. You may have felt small shifts lately, changes in atmosphere, subtle emotional signals, moments where something felt unfinished or incomplete. These were not random. They were signs that clarity is approaching. God is preparing hearts before revealing truth, so that when understanding arrives, it does not break relationships, but strengthens them. This is how divine timing works: first peace, then truth, then restoration. The home you live in has absorbed many emotions over time: joy, stress, silence, patience, and hope. Heaven has heard prayers spoken inside that home, even the ones whispered when no one else was listening. This message is not saying, "Be afraid." It is saying, "Be ready to understand." When truth arrives gently, it has the power to heal generations, not just moments. God says, do not rush to conclusions and do not let the mind create stories before the heart receives clarity. What is being revealed will make sense when it appears, and when it does, you will realize that this moment was necessary. Sometimes truth waits until hearts are strong enough to carry it. Sometimes silence exists not to hide, but to protect until the right time comes. This is also a reminder for you to stay grounded. Stay calm. Stay compassionate. Whatever comes into awareness is coming with divine permission, and nothing that God allows to surface is meant to destroy peace. If something has been hidden, it was not forgotten. It was simply waiting for the right season. And that season is now approaching, slowly and carefully. You are being guided to observe rather than react, to listen rather than assume, and to trust rather than fear. The home you live in is under divine watch, and no truth that emerges will be without purpose. When clarity replaces confusion, you will feel lighter, not heavier. When understanding replaces silence, your heart will feel steadier, not shaken. God says this message is not meant to be overlooked because it is a preparation, not a warning. Preparation brings peace. Preparation brings wisdom. Preparation allows truth to arrive without chaos. Stay open, stay patient, and stay rooted in calm faith. What is coming into the light is coming to restore balance, not to break it. When the moment arrives, you will understand why this message reached you now. Until then, hold your peace, guard your heart, and trust that your home is being gently aligned with truth and understanding from above. God says, remain still in your spirit as you continue to listen, because what is unfolding is not rushed by heaven. Truth does not run. It arrives when the heart is ready to receive it. The home you live in carries more than daily routines and familiar voices. It carries emotional echoes, silent questions, and moments that were never fully spoken aloud. Heaven has been observing these quiet layers with great care, and now a gentle alignment is taking place. There are things connected to your home that were never meant to stay hidden forever. Not because they were wrong, but because they were unfinished. Some truths wait not for exposure, but for maturity. Some emotions remain unspoken not out of deception, but out of protection. God is showing you that the timing of revelation is as important as the revelation itself. When the heart is ready, clarity comes without breaking peace. This message speaks again of a woman connected to your home, and heaven wants you to understand this with wisdom, not imagination. Every home has a feminine presence of influence. Sometimes through care, sometimes through sacrifice, sometimes through silence. What is coming forward is not meant to place blame or create distance. It is meant to bring understanding where there has been quiet misunderstanding, and healing where emotions were never given space to breathe. You may notice that your thoughts are becoming more reflective lately. You may feel moments where memories surface unexpectedly, or emotions feel closer to the surface than usual. This is not confusion. This is preparation. God prepares the inner world before allowing outer clarity. When truth arrives without preparation, it shocks. When truth arrives with preparation, it restores. The walls of your home have witnessed patience. They have absorbed conversations that ended too soon and feelings that were set aside to keep peace. Heaven honors that patience. But God also knows that peace built on silence eventually needs truth to remain strong. That is why what is about to come out will not arrive loudly or suddenly. It will reveal itself naturally, in a way that makes sense when it happens. Do not rush to label this moment. Do not allow fear to define what heaven is gently guiding. This is not about loss, it is about balance. This is not about disruption, it is about alignment. God does not disturb a home without first placing His hand of calm over it. The revelation connected to this woman is coming with purpose, and that purpose is to bring emotional clarity, not chaos. You are being guided to become an observer rather than a reactor. Sometimes the greatest wisdom is not in speaking first, but in listening fully. When clarity begins to unfold, you will recognize it not by shock, but by a strange sense of relief. That relief is heaven's confirmation that this moment was necessary. God says the home you live in is under protection. Nothing that is revealed will be allowed to harm what is meant to stay strong. Some truths come out to correct direction. Some come out to heal old emotional patterns. Some come out simply because it is time. And time, when guided by God, never arrives empty-handed. You may soon notice conversations changing tone, or small moments that open deeper understanding. These are not coincidences. They are signs of alignment. Heaven is gently removing confusion so that peace can remain rooted in honesty rather than assumption. This is how spiritual growth enters a household, not through noise, but through awareness. Remember this clearly: truth does not always come to separate people, often it comes to bring hearts closer in a more honest way. What was once unclear will soon make sense. What once felt heavy will feel lighter when understood. God is not revealing something to unsettle your home, but to strengthen it from the inside out. Stay grounded. Stay patient. Stay open-hearted. The moment of clarity will arrive naturally, and when it does, you will realize that heaven prepared you long before it happened. This is not a message to fear, it is a message to trust the process of divine timing. Your home is being aligned with understanding, and understanding always leads to peace when it is guided by God. God says, stay with this moment a little longer, because what is being revealed now goes deeper than events and words. It touches the emotional foundation of your home. Every home is built not only with walls and roofs, but with unspoken feelings, quiet sacrifices, and decisions made in silence. Heaven has been watching these layers carefully, and now a gentle unraveling is beginning, not to expose, but to heal. There are emotions connected to your home that have been carried for a long time without expression. Some were carried out of love, some out of responsibility, and some out of fear of disrupting peace. God sees these burdens, especially the ones carried quietly. The woman connected to this message holds a key role in this emotional landscape, not as a problem, but as a mirror reflecting something that was never fully acknowledged. This is not about uncovering something dramatic. This is about understanding something meaningful. Truth does not always arrive as a revelation, sometimes it arrives as realization. A moment where things suddenly make sense. A moment where past confusion rearranges itself into clarity. Heaven often works this way, softly, patiently, without force. You may begin to notice subtle shifts in the atmosphere of your home. The way people speak. The way silence feels. The way emotions surface without explanation. These shifts are not accidents. They are signs that something internal is being aligned. God prepares the environment before allowing awareness to enter. That is why this moment feels quiet, not overwhelming. The woman connected to this unfolding carries emotions that were set aside long ago. Not because they were unimportant, but because they were inconvenient to address at the time. Heaven does not judge this. Heaven understands timing. And now, timing is changing. What remained hidden is not coming out to create distance, but to invite understanding. God says, do not rush to interpret what you notice. Let things reveal themselves naturally. Forced conclusions distort truth. Patience allows truth to speak for itself. When clarity arrives gently, it does not demand reaction. It invites reflection. And reflection leads to wisdom. Your home is under divine observation right now, not scrutiny, but care. Heaven is ensuring that whatever surfaces does so in a way that protects emotional balance. This is why nothing is being shaken suddenly. This is why there is no sense of alarm. God does not introduce confusion into a place He intends to heal. Some of what is coming into light may challenge assumptions you have carried quietly. Not because you were wrong, but because you never had the full picture. Partial understanding often feels complete until clarity fills the missing spaces. When that happens, the heart adjusts naturally. You may realize that certain behaviors, moods, or decisions now make more sense than before. This is one of the clearest signs that truth is arriving with purpose. Understanding removes emotional weight. It replaces confusion with compassion. God always prefers restoration over confrontation. There is also a lesson here for you personally. Heaven is teaching you the power of listening without defense, observing without judgment, and allowing truth to unfold without fear. These are signs of spiritual maturity. Not everyone is given this kind of moment. It is given to those who can handle truth with grace. God says the home you live in is entering a season of emotional honesty. Honesty does not always mean speaking more, sometimes it means understanding more. Sometimes it means releasing old interpretations and allowing space for new clarity. This is how peace deepens rather than breaks. Nothing that is coming forward is meant to take something away from you. What is being revealed is meant to return something that was missing: peace of mind, emotional balance, or understanding that was delayed. Heaven does not subtract without intention to restore. If you feel a quiet heaviness lifting as you listen, that is confirmation. Truth often lightens the spirit even before it fully reveals itself. This is God's way of preparing your heart, so that when clarity completes its work, it feels natural, not shocking. Stay grounded in patience. Stay rooted in calm. Observation. The unfolding connected to your home is guided, not random. Heaven has already accounted for every emotion involved. Nothing is being left unprotected. This is not a moment to speak loudly. This is a moment to see clearly. And clarity, when it arrives through God's timing, always leads to peace that lasts longer than silence ever could. God says, "Now listen with a calm and open heart, because what has been quietly unfolding is reaching its point of understanding." Every home carries stories that are never spoken out loud. Some are wrapped in love, some in sacrifice, and some in silence chosen to keep peace. Heaven has allowed this silence for a reason, not to hide truth forever, but to protect hearts until they were ready to understand it without pain. What is coming into awareness now is not meant to divide your home. It is meant to align it. When truth arrives at the right time, it does not crash like a storm. It settles like light entering a room that was already familiar, yet suddenly clearer. You may realize that certain emotions you felt before were not confusion, but intuition waiting for clarity. The woman connected to this message is not being highlighted to create blame or judgment. Heaven never reveals truth to point fingers. Heaven reveals truth to soften hearts. What was held back because everyone involved was still learning something about themselves. Growth often happens in silence before it shows itself in understanding. God says, there were moments when you sensed something was incomplete, not wrong, just unfinished. Those moments were not imagination. They were gentle signals preparing you for this season. Now, instead of tension, there is an opportunity for emotional balance to return, not by force, but by awareness. Your home is entering a phase where unspoken emotions begin to lose their weight. When something hidden is understood, it no longer controls the atmosphere. It no longer shapes reactions. Understanding brings freedom even before conversations happen. Sometimes clarity changes everything without a single word being spoken. You may notice that your own perspective is shifting. Things that once bothered you may begin to feel lighter. Reactions that once felt automatic may soften. This is not because situations changed suddenly, but because your inner alignment is changing. God always starts restoration from within before it shows outwardly. Heaven wants you to know that nothing being revealed now is meant to take peace away. If anything, peace is what is being restored. Truth handled with patience becomes wisdom. Wisdom handled with humility becomes harmony. This is the path your home is being guided onto. There is also a deeper lesson here for you. God is teaching you discernment without suspicion, awareness without fear, and understanding without accusation. These are signs of spiritual maturity. Not everyone is trusted with such moments, because not everyone can hold truth gently. If emotions surface, yours or someone else's, do not rush to interpret them. Let them breathe. Let them pass through without resistance. Emotional honesty does not always need immediate answers. Sometimes it only needs space to exist without judgment. God says, "What once felt like uncertainty is now becoming insight. What once felt heavy is now becoming clear." This is not coincidence. This is alignment. When heaven aligns a home, it does so quietly, ensuring that love remains stronger than misunderstanding. You are not being asked to confront. You are being invited to understand. You are not being pushed to react. You are being guided to observe with wisdom. This is how lasting peace is built, slowly, gently, truthfully. Your home is under divine covering during this process. No word, no realization, no emotional shift is arriving without heaven's awareness. Nothing is slipping out of control. Everything is unfolding exactly as it should, in a way that protects hearts and preserves connection. God says, "Trust the calm you feel now." That calm is confirmation. Truth that comes from heaven does not leave chaos behind, it leaves clarity. And clarity always leads to stability. As this message reaches its completion, remember this: not every revelation is meant to change relationships. Some are meant to deepen them. Some are meant to remove assumptions. Some are meant to replace silence with understanding. This is one of those moments. Your home is not breaking. It is maturing. Your understanding is not late. It is timely. And what is being revealed is not a threat, it is an invitation to peace that lasts. Heaven has spoken softly because your heart is ready to hear gently. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs clarity and peace, and leave a comment about what you felt while listening. Subscribe to this channel to stay connected with more spiritual messages that bring understanding, calm, and guidance into your life.